Hi friends, and welcome back. It's Mrs. Vincent again. When I first started recording these videos, I had originally thought I was going to do only one chapter a day, but I have decided to do 2 chapters a day, which is what I told you all. So today you're going to get chapters 5 and 6 in one video. So stay tuned for 2 chapters if you're listening in with me. So it might be a little bit longer, just so you know. Feel free, you can stop after chapter 5 and then pick back up another time if you would like as well. So chapter 5 is a bit of an ominous title, is what I would say. Ominous. What do you think that word might mean? Well, here's the title of the chapter. Running Out of Time. So ominous is kind of a little scary. You're very unsure what might happen. You might hear an ominous noise, like creaking from downstairs, or a strange noise that you don't know what it is. So ominous can be a little scary. So the title of the chapter is Running Out of Time. And remember when we left off, Douglas, the rabbit, has stopped eating and stopped drinking. And Dr. Henry figured out that he is feeling lonely. He misses his owner. And Dr. Henry recommended getting him back to he or she as soon as possible. But the problem is, we don't know who the owner is. So let's see what we learn in these chapters. Chapter 5, Running Out of Time. On their way home, the twins' mom drove up Main Street. Brian sat up front and the other kids were in the back. Douglas's cage lay across their laps. Suddenly, Bradley sat up. He tapped his mother's shoulder. "Mom, stop," he shouted. "Here? Why?" his mother asked. "I want to take Douglas into the pet shop," Bradley said. "Mrs. Wong might know his owner." "Great idea," said his mother. She pulled the car up in front of the Furry Feet Pet Shop. All 4 kids climbed out. Bradley and Lucy carried the cage through the front doors. "Hi, kids," Mrs. Wong said. "What have you got?" Mrs. Wong was dropping fish food into an aquarium. All along the walls were fish tanks and animal cages. "It's a rabbit and he won't eat," Nate said. Mrs. Wong peered into the cage at Douglas. The kids explained how Douglas had been left in their classroom closet. Then they told her what Dr. Henry had told them. "So you want to know if I know the owner, right?" Mrs. Wong asked. The 4 kids nodded. Mrs. Wong put her hand in the cage. And that's what this illustration is showing. All the kids crowded around Mrs. Wong, kind of checking things out inside of Bradley's cage. She stroked the rabbit's fur. Douglas sat in a corner with his eyes closed. "I'm sorry, but I've never seen this bunny before," she said, "and I don't know anyone in town who owns one like this." Bradley felt awful. How would they ever find Douglas's owner? The kids thanked Mrs. Wong and carried Douglas back to the car. "Any luck?" Bradley's mom asked. She pulled into traffic. "No, she'd never seen Douglas before," Bradley said. "I'm sorry, hon," his mom said. "I have an idea," Nate said. "We could put an ad in the newspaper. We could ask whoever left Douglas at the school to get in touch with us." "But that would take days," Bradley said. "We need to find Douglas's owner soon," Lucy said. When they got home, the kids carried Douglas back up to Bradley and Brian's room. "Come down in a few minutes," the twins' mom called up the stairs. "I'll make hot chocolate." "Thanks, Mom," Brian yelled back. They set the cage on Bradley's desk. "He doesn't look any different," Nate said. "Maybe we should just leave him alone for a while," Lucy said. "Maybe he just doesn't like kids," Brian suggested. They all stared at the rabbit. His eyes were closed, and he didn't move. "Come on," Bradley said sadly. "Let's go downstairs." He picked up the 3 photos as they left the room. Remember, that was of the rabbit kind of playing around. We saw them, it had gotten tucked underneath of the kind of shavings in the bottom, the newspaper clippings in the bottom of the cage. Someone had left pictures of Douglas when he was in his old home, happy and kind of moving around and alert and alive and well. So he picked him up on the way. He picked up those pictures on the way out of the room. Bradley's mom was stirring a pot of hot chocolate on the stove. The kids sat, and Bradley spread out the pictures of Douglas. "Where'd you get those?" the twins' mother asked. "They were in the cage," Brian said. "His owner must have left them." Lucy pointed to the picture that showed Douglas in someone's hand. "He was so cute when he was little," she said. Suddenly, Bradley had an idea. "Guys, these pictures could be clues," he said. And that is him staring very closely, attentively looking at those pictures, and there's some kind of clue. So as you can see, this is the start of chapter 6, Scar Finger. Clues to what? Nate asked. "We want to find Douglas's owner, right?" Bradley said. He pointed at the hand holding the tiny rabbit. "If this is his owner's hand, maybe we can find out who it is." They all stared at the picture. Bradley's mother reached over and pointed with her mixing spoon. "Well, we can tell that it's a man's right hand," she said. "Boy, he has hairy knuckles," Nate said. "And he's got a scar on his little finger," Lucy put in. The kids bent closer to the picture. "The scar is shaped like the letter C," Bradley said. "Cool," Nate said. "Now we just have to find a hairy guy with that scar on his right pinky." "Lots of luck," Brian said. A little doubtful. Lucy studied the picture showing Douglas on a patch of grass. "He must live somewhere with a lawn," she said, "and tall hedges. And that's about half the yards in Greenlawn," Nate said. "Even we have hedges like that." Bradley took a closer look at the picture. "He grows vegetables," he said. "See, those are tomatoes." Bradley's mother set 4 mugs and a bag of marshmallows on the table. "Careful, it's hot," she said. They thanked Mrs. Pinto and took noisy sips. "Well, we'll never find the vegetable garden," Brian said. He pointed out the kitchen window. "There's a foot of snow in everyone's yard." "What about other clues?" Lucy asked. She picked up the picture that showed Douglas sitting on the wooden bench. "Are there any benches like this in Greenlawn?" Bradley studied the picture. "Guys, I don't think this is a bench," he said. "Then what is it?" Brian asked, taking the picture. "I think it's a seat in a rowboat," Bradley said. "See the water behind it? And that's not a railing. It's the outside of the boat." Bradley opened a drawer under the counter. He pulled out a magnifying glass and held it over the picture. A magnifying glass is a tool that scientists will often use to magnify or to make items larger. So when you look through the glass, it makes it appear larger than it really is. So using the magnifying glass, it says SKI on the side of the boat, he said. Brian grinned. "Ron's bait shop has boats for rent," he said. "Ron's last name is Pinkowski, and people call him Ski." "Awesome," Nate said. "Let's go ask him if he knows anyone with a rabbit." "It's February," Brian said. "Mr. Pinkowski rents out boats in the summertime." Bradley shook his head. "He sells bait for ice fishing, too." He grabbed the 3 pictures. "What are we waiting for?" he asked. So there is the zoomed in. Let me make sure I did. Yep. The zoomed in picture. This is what they saw originally. So they then noticed that that's water in the background. And this is the side of the boat that they're looking at. And using this magnifying glass, this is what they think they see of Mr. Pinkowski. And now they're on the hunt. Do we have a possible clue? Was your prediction correct? Do you need to change anything? Until next time, bye friends.